So Coach Prime has finally came out and said it. They lied. They completely lied on Shedeur from start to finish for the whole draft process. All of these fake stories in order for Shedeur to slide.
We got a little update, man. Shout out to the Cleveland Brown insiders, bro. I know they've been hating a little bit. They be looking a little spooky at times, but they got to keep it real today. And I'm here to tell you, they letting it be known that Shedeur Sanders will see the field at some point during the 2025 season.
Apparently, the Cleveland Browns have come to believe they're running a third-rate magic show instead of a professional football team. They've been playing a pathetic game of peekaboo with Shedeur Sanders' starting spot, acting as if the entire fanbase can't see right through their cheap smoke and flimsy mirrors. One minute the narrative is that he's simply not ready. The very next reports are leaking that he's secretly torching the first-string defense in practice. Did the Cleveland Browns organization genuinely think they could outsmart the entire internet? Spoiler alert, they got exposed more brutally than a middle schooler caught in a blatant lie about their homework.
First of all, I don't know that you need a fourth quarterback. I don't think you need one on the practice squad. No. I mean, if most teams are in a spot where they're like, you know what, we're good with what we have. And what we'll do is, instead of tying up a practice squad spot, we'll work the waiver wire as needed if we get to that point.
Right.
To me, this screams what you touched on earlier, and that's what I planned to say in this segment was Joe Flacco is old and fragile. They know there's a very real possibility they could turn the page to number 2, Dylan Gabriel, before week 7. So if that's the case, that means Shedeur is a snap.
The entire fan base already sees straight through this pathetic Cleveland Browns charade. This isn't some deep tactical football master plan. It is a cynical reality TV rating stunt poorly disguised as a depth chart decision. They haven't offered a real date, not even a whisper of a hint as to when Shedeur is actually going to take over. Instead, they're just stringing the entire public along with the cheapest kind of bad Netflix cliffhanger. Tune in next week. Maybe he starts. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he'll just jog onto the field to hand somebody a Gatorade and a clipboard. Who knows?
2 ways you could look at it. You could look at it and be thankful and take full advantage of the opportunity, you know, or you could look at it like, dang, this is what I've been asking for. I'm not prepared, you know. So I'll say I've been able to sleep good at night, you know, knowing I was playing. I didn't know I was playing till, I don't know, one of the days that was close. And then, you know, I just prepared it as normal. But it was definitely that switch and it kicked in. And when you out there on the field, it's different. Like, you understand, ball's ball. You know, the ball never been a problem for me. It's, you know, whatever optics or whatever everybody makes up after outside.
The Browns are basically holding the entire fan base hostage.
The Browns are basically holding their entire fan base emotionally hostage with an endless supply of tantalizing what-if scenarios. This has absolutely nothing to do with on-field competition. It is a calculated campaign for commercials. This is the brand of cynical manipulation you'd expect from the showrunners of a failing soap opera, not a supposed NFL franchise. The team is milking this manufactured suspense harder than a network trying to stretch a 2-hour season finale into a 3-night television event. Every single press conference has devolved into a low-budget infomercial for a product that's perpetually on backorder. Just stay tuned, they plead. You never know when the rookie might finally show up. Let's be clear, they are not building a game plan. They are building a ratings empire. This was never about the depth chart. It is and always has been about the Nielsen chart.
What happens if Shedeur is a snap away?
Right.
What they're telling you by this move is, we think Bailey is the best available quarterback right now. And that landscape can change week to week. And we know how quickly quarterbacks go down in the first couple of weeks of a season.
Right.
Bailey will be scooped up by somebody as a safety net. We better get him because we're likely going to need one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. We don't know for sure that that's the reason, but
that's my theory.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
My theory is they think Shedeur is
why
not
else
ready
would you keep a fourth quarterback who, in Bailey's app, he stinks?
Let's be clear, the fans have seen this tired trick before. Teams play coy with their prized rookies all the time, but the Cleveland Browns are elevating this manipulation to an entirely new, almost artistic level. This isn't some grand mystery, it is a cold, calculated, full-blown marketing strategy. They have effectively turned Shedeur Sanders into a human lottery ticket, urging the public to buy enough scratch-offs in the form of viewership, with the faint promise that maybe, just maybe, you'll hit the jackpot and get to witness him throw a single pass. Meanwhile, they are shamelessly cashing in on every last drop of manufactured curiosity from every single viewer, because the Cleveland Browns don't want to win football games right now. They want to win airtime.
So Shedeur Sanders, Kevin Stefanski, they've had all sorts of quarterback injuries. He's going to start Friday. And he'll only have one practice with the ones, and he's going to start. And this is now being called sabotage. And this is not just like crazy internet dweeb. It's like network people. It's sabotage. Cleveland doesn't want him to succeed. Okay, let's start with this.
The Browns have turned their entire fan base into desperate gamblers hunched over a slot machine, endlessly pumping in quarters just to see if 3 cherries might finally line up. And the most cynical kicker of all, they know it works. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a rookie quarterback. He is a living, breathing storyline. He is the headline every single week, the perpetual what if that keeps fans arguing in bars and lighting up social media. They've discovered that by not starting him, they actually generate far more attention than if they did. Because if he comes in and immediately dominates, the narrative arc peaks and then flatlines. But if they keep him shrouded in the shadows, the suspense can be stretched out indefinitely. Every single game has been reduced to a cheap serialized episode of will they or won't they. Cleveland hasn't built a football season. They've scripted a bad rom-com, and the fans absolutely get it. They see the puppet strings with crystal clarity. But the thing is, they still tune in, week after agonizing week, because as much as everyone complains, nobody wants to be the one who misses the singular moment when Shedeur actually steps onto the field. It's the modern sports equivalent of missing the one episode where your favorite show finally reveals the twist you've been waiting on for years. It is a work of manipulative genius, the kind that makes you roll your eyes while still grabbing for your popcorn, and the team isn't even bothering to hide it anymore. Every single move they make screams ratings grab.
I also can't blame anybody who says, I don't necessarily trust this coaching staff to develop a quarterback or to evaluate the quarterback position. They've made some really oddball decisions at this position over the last several years, and I don't blame anybody for questioning, do these guys actually know what they're doing?
I don't think that's unfair at all. The thing I would say is that they're desperate. They're very desperate. Like the entire organization is desperate. And if you really think they're going back to the coaches' offices and all getting around the table after sessions and being like, guys, Shedeur is unbelievable.
And the most tragically brilliant part of this entire strategy, this tactic works best on the Browns' own tortured fan base. These are people who have been through decades of unrelenting heartbreak. They've patiently sat through a parade of quarterbacks who couldn't hit a barn door, coaches who couldn't manage a simple game clock, and entire seasons that have completely collapsed in on themselves long before Halloween. So when a name like Shedeur Sanders finally shows up, dripping with hype, swagger, and actual tangible talent, it doesn't just generate interest, it becomes a full-blown obsession. The fans crave his presence out there so desperately that they're willing to sit through the blatant manipulation. They'll endure the suspense, the infuriating vagueness, the constant refrain of maybe next week, just to cling to the fragile hope that things might finally change. Cleveland has absolutely mastered this cruel little dance. They understand that people simply can't resist a mystery box, even if 9 times out of 10 it's filled with nothing but disappointment and another high draft pick. The Browns know this, and they are milking this dynamic until the very last drop. It is so transparent that it's almost comical. Imagine a professional team so singularly focused on controlling suspense that they completely forget their primary job is to actually win football games. But that, in a nutshell, is the modern Browns. They're not just competing in the AFC North, they're competing in the entertainment industry. They have successfully turned Shedeur into a weekly cliffhanger and the entire NFL season into a must-binge watch series. And the fans, they know it. They openly mock it.
Has been with the Browns through OTAs, rookie minicamp, and training camp. He knows the playbook, the head coach, the coordinator, and his teammates. And because he only gets one practice with the ones, it's sabotage. You've got to be kidding me. Stop pandering. Stop protecting media. The great ones would consider this an amazing opportunity. And he probably does. But we got to stop this. if I was Kevin Stefanski, and they're hemorrhaging quarterbacks because of injuries, and we don't need to see Joe Flacco. The last thing we need to see is Joe Flacco. I would make an argument, well, rich dad, famous dad, let's give him a little turbulence.
But they also tune in every single week, held captive by the one thing they refuse to admit. Deep down, they are terrified of missing it. What if this is finally the game where Cleveland lets the kid loose? The Browns aren't running a football season. They are producing a weekly soap opera with shoulder pads, and the fans have been cast in the dual role of both the primary victims and the captive audience, collectively rolling their eyes while secretly, desperately loving every agonizing second of it. Shedeur Sanders doesn't even have to take a single snap. He is already, without question, the most talked about player on the entire roster, not because of anything he has actually done, but because of everything he might do. And that is precisely the way the Cleveland front office wants it. This franchise has finally figured out how to weaponize raw, unfiltered anticipation. By keeping Shedeur on ice, they manufacture a storyline far bigger and more valuable than if he were actually out there winning games. And let's face it, winning games has never been Cleveland's specialty, but their fans will keep watching, enduring the charade, because the sheer possibility of what could be is simply too powerful to ignore. And Cleveland knows it. They know exactly what they are doing. They aren't building a team. They're building suspense. They aren't running plays. They're running a long, elaborate con. And the fans, no matter how much they roll their eyes in disgust, will keep showing up for the next episode. Because when it comes to Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, the agonizing weekly cliffhanger is the final product.
If Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good, he looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true. We did
So
say
how
that.
is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL
100%.
quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
does that
Yes.
make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
It doesn't make any
and they're
sense.
the ones
I don't. What are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this year?
Fans are not the gullible marks the Browns front office seems to believe they are. Sure, they've been teased and dragged along for years, but at some point you stop falling for the same tired trick. This isn't a circus where you buy a ticket perpetually hoping the elephant finally learns to balance on one foot. This is professional football. Fans know better than to waste 3 precious hours of their Sunday watching a game where Shedeur Sanders isn't even the designated starter. They are not buying popcorn just to sit through another predictable rerun of the same old backup quarterback routine. They see the play here. They know the fundamental difference between a genuine promise and a cynical bait and switch. Shedeur Sanders deserves far better than being paraded around like a cheap teaser trailer. He is not a mid-credit scene. He is the entire blockbuster movie. He is not supposed to be a mere sprinkle of excitement dropped into another dull, uninspired Browns performance. He is supposed to be the one commanding the entire show. The fans understand this implicitly, and that is precisely why they're not going to be tricked into tuning in just to see him hold a clipboard or jog onto the field for a meaningless token handoff. That is not what they are here for. They are here for the fireworks, not to be handed a damp sparkler.
The Browns just released their latest depth chart, and Shedeur is still number 4. I don't believe it. He's definitely not going to be their week 1 starter. If I were Shedeur, I wouldn't even want to be the week 1 starter. The Browns open with the Bengals, but then they go Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings, Steelers. Those are not defenses I'm interested in playing. When Flacco inevitably gets benched, I think Shedeur is now in pole position. Now, maybe they'll go to Pickett, but I think that would be asinine.
The Browns have gravely miscalculated just how much their fans actually value their time. People don't just blindly watch full games anymore. They exist in an entire ecosystem of highlight reels, real-time social media updates, and streaming clips, a universe of instant gratification at their fingertips. Why would they sit through hours of predictable mediocrity for a maybe, when they can just catch Shedeur's 5-second cameo online 2 minutes after it happens? Fans are savvier now, and they are absolutely ruthless with the currency of their attention. If Shedeur isn't starting, they are not watching. It is truly that simple. Shedeur isn't just another rookie fighting for table scraps. He is the undisputed main event. He is the one with the generational hype, the undeniable skill, and the magnetic charisma. Holding him back doesn't protect him. It fundamentally undermines him. It broadcasts the cynical message that the Cleveland Browns care more about milking the drama than they do about giving their best player a fair shot. The fans see it, they deeply resent it, and they are not willing to play along with this manipulative game forever.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders ever starts a game. for the Cleveland Browns. I don't believe he starts a game this year, obviously, barring injury, which is the conversation you and I had. And if he doesn't get an opportunity to start a game this year because of injury and show something different than he was able to show this preseason, I don't believe they view him as a franchise builder, a franchise starter. And I'm gonna admit something on TV that you probably shouldn't. I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders. I wanted to turn the film on and be able to come on First Take, be on Get Up, and be on NFL Live and pound the table that he has been done wrong.
What makes this entire situation even funnier is how the Browns front office genuinely seems to believe they're outsmarting their own audience, as if the entire fan base is sitting at home naively whispering, well, maybe this is the week he'll get 5 whole plays. No, the fans have completely flipped the script on them. They are conserving their energy and their attention for the real show, the week he actually starts. They have made their ultimatum crystal clear: give Shedeur the main stage, or don't bother expecting us in the seats. And let's be brutally honest, the Cleveland Browns do not have the luxury of stalling. They are not sitting atop some established dynasty with endless patience from their supporters. They are a franchise that has been desperately craving a shred of stability for literal decades. The very notion that they would rather trot out another completely forgettable lineup than give Shedeur the chance he has clearly earned isn't just laughable, it's insulting. The fans are no longer tolerating this level of organizational incompetence. They are demanding change, and that demand is profoundly simple. Let the kid play.
Browns is the Browns. This is the most hype they've ever had. Like, it's the Browns.
Exactly.
So, he got drafted to the wrong team. That's Sanders' name. I'm telling you right now, there's only one person that understands business, and he will trade his quarterback for Sanders. Dallas is where Sanders is going to be.
Wow.
Because that name on the back of that jersey is legacy, and he's going to want that to ring bells around the globe.
Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this entire debacle is the unprecedented unity it has forged among the fans. Typically, the Cleveland supporter base is a fractured landscape, perpetually at war over everything from play calls and draft picks to coaching decisions. Yet when it comes to Shedeur, a stunning, unwavering consensus has emerged. Everyone agrees he should be the starter. It's a rare and powerful alignment that should send a chilling message to the front office. Because when the fans stop arguing with each other and start arguing directly with you, you've already lost the war. And this isn't merely about hype. Shedeur deserves to start because he has undeniably earned it. His relentless work ethic, his commanding presence, his raw ability, it's all glaringly obvious to anyone paying the slightest bit of attention. This is about respect. Respect for the fans' time, respect for the game itself, and respect for the opportunity Shedeur has so clearly earned. Every single week he doesn't start feels like a flagrant act of disrespect from the Browns. A slap in the face to all 3 of those principles, and the fans are not going to stand for it. Their viewership will vanish. They will simply disengage. They will wait until Cleveland finally does the obvious thing and give Shedeur the role he deserves. The Browns can keep pretending their little suspense game is a brilliant strategy, but the truth is, they have already completely lost the plot.
He played with the threes. Anyone with half a brain could see 4 of the 5 guys got waived yesterday. He was running for his life. I mean, if I'm that kid's father, uncle, brother, I'm going, you know what? Let us go somewhere we could try and play.
Please.
We can be developed. There never was a 4-man competition. Never. Shedeur was never in the competition. And if that's how the Browns see it, rightfully so. Why'd you draft him?
Let's be unequivocally clear. The fans are not fooled. They will not be baited into some endless, cynical waiting room. They are done showing up. Just in case, they are showing up when it actually counts. The moment Shedeur Sanders is finally handed the keys to the offense and allowed to do the very thing he was brought there to do. Until that day, Cleveland is stuck broadcasting predictable, soul-crushing reruns, and the modern fan simply does not watch reruns. At the end of the day, the ultimatum is profoundly simple. Give Shedeur the chance he so clearly deserves. Let him start every single game. Cease this pathetic game of smoke and mirrors. The fans know exactly what they want, and they know with absolute certainty when they are being played. And if the Cleveland organization doesn't receive this message very soon, they are going to find out the hard way that you cannot trick people into loyalty. You cannot bait them into caring. You earn it by putting your absolute best on the field. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is, without a single shred of doubt, the best they've got.